Everyone at Nexus Station knew about Vexthara. The Crithian warrior stood 7 feet tall, her obsidian exoskeleton gleaming under the station's fluorescent lights like polished midnight. 4 arms, each capable of bending steel. Eyes that glowed crimson when angered, which was often. Mandibles that could shear through composite armor plating. She'd single-handedly ended the Sector 9 riots by walking into the crowd and roaring once. Just once. Veteran traders whispered stories in the cantinas. How she'd torn a bulkhead door off its hinges when someone disrespected her captain. How she'd made a Gorthan raiding party flee by simply flexing her secondary arms. How her species were apex predators on a death world where everything evolved to kill. I was the only human stupid enough not to be afraid. My name's Jake Morrison, Junior Cargo Inspector for the Galactic Trade Commission. 23 years old, fresh off Earth, and apparently born without the self-preservation instinct everyone else possessed. The first time I met Vexthara, she was blocking Bay 7, her massive frame preventing my scanner from reaching the cargo containers behind her. "Excuse me," I said, tapping her lower left arm with my stylus. "I need to get past." The entire loading dock went silent. 17 different species suddenly found reasons to be elsewhere. Her captain, a weathered Centaurian named Krell, actually put his head in his hands. Vexthara's eyes blazed crimson. She looked down at me way down, and her mandibles spread wide, revealing rows of serrated teeth designed for tearing prey apart. "You touched me." Her voice was a subsonic rumble that vibrated my ribcage. I shrugged. "You were in the way. Can you move? I've got 40 more inspections today." Her secondary arms flexed. Her primary arms clenched into fists the size of my head. The temperature in the bay seemed to drop 10 degrees. Then she laughed. It wasn't a pleasant sound, more like rocks grinding together in an avalanche, but it was definitely laughter. She stepped aside, those crimson eyes studying me with something that might have been curiosity. "Fearless or foolish, tiny human?" "Probably both," I admitted, squeezing past her to scan the containers. "But mostly just busy." That should have been the end of it. It wasn't the end of it. Vexthara's ship, the Crimson Talon, made regular supply runs to Nexus Station, which meant I saw her at least twice a standard week, and each time I treated her exactly like I treated everyone else, with professional courtesy and absolutely zero fear. Apparently this was hilarious to her. "The little human returns," she'd announce whenever she saw me, her mandibles clicking with amusement. "Come to poke the predator again?" "Just doing my job," I'd reply, not looking up from my data pad. "Got 3 violations on your last cargo manifest, by the way. The Zentari silk wasn't properly refrigerated." "You dare criticize my cargo handling?" "I dare fill out the proper forms. Sign here." The other inspectors thought I was insane. My supervisor, a nervous Pixian named Chitter 7, actually filed a transfer request to a different sector for safety reasons. But here's the thing about bullies, and I realized early that's what I was being in a weird way. You can't back down. The moment you show fear, you've lost. So I kept treating Vexthara like she was just another merchant with occasionally sloppy paperwork. One rotation, I found her in the station commissary, her massive frame hunched over a table meant for much smaller species. She was attempting to eat what looked like a bowl of live crustaceans, her mandibles clicking irritably. "You're doing that wrong," I said, sliding into the seat across from her. Her eyes flared. "Excuse me," I pointed at the bowl. "Corinthian rock shrimp. You're supposed to freeze them first. Otherwise, they pinch your mandibles. See? I held up my datapad, showing her the proper preparation instructions. She stared at me, then at the datapad, then at the shrimp, one of which was indeed clamped onto her lower left mandible. "This is embarrassing," she rumbled. "Happens to everyone the first time," I said, flagging down a server. "2 frozen rock shrimp bowls, please, and some Terran hot sauce. Trust me, it's amazing on these." We ate together in silence. Well, I ate. She demolished her bowl in approximately 4 bites once the shrimp were properly frozen, then stared at my portion with interest. "Your species eats so slowly," she observed. "Your species eats like they're competing in a speed contest," I countered. "When's the last time you actually tasted your food?" Her mandibles twitched. I was learning to recognize that as amusement. "Crithians don't taste like humans do. We sense chemical compositions." "Still." "Try 1 bite slowly, savor it." She picked up a single shrimp, held it in her primary hands, and placed it carefully in her mouth. Her eyes widened as much as compound eyes could widen. "The sauce, I can sense the capsaicin molecules bonding with the protein structures." "Right, it's good. It's adequate," she said, but I noticed she finished the bowl much more slowly than the first one. That became our routine. Whenever her ship docked, we'd have a meal together. I'd introduce her to new foods. She'd tell me stories about her death world homeworld that should have terrified me but somehow didn't. I'd mock her table manners. She'd threaten to break me in half. It was, looking back, the weirdest friendship I'd ever had. Everything changed during the Vorthal incident. I was conducting a routine inspection on Dock 12 when the Vorthal Collective's ship arrived. A massive dreadnought that dwarfed everything else at the station. The Vorthal were relatively new to galactic trade, insectoid beings with a hive mind structure and aggressive expansion policies. Their delegate, something called a war coordinator, stomped down the ramp with a dozen drones following. It was 12 feet of chitinous armor and bad attitude. "Inspection," it clicked in broken galactic common. "Vorthal ships not submit to inspection. Inferior species not touch Vorthal property." "Station regulations," I said, holding up my scanner. "Every ship gets inspected, no exceptions." "You are human?" The war coordinator leaned down, studying me with multifaceted eyes. "Weak species, soft body. We crushed 3 human colonies in expansion wars." My jaw clenched. I'd lost a cousin in those conflicts, border skirmishes that Earth barely survived. "That was before the treaty. Now we have regulations. You can comply or leave." The drones surrounded me. The war coordinator's mandibles, so similar to Vexthara's but somehow completely different, spread wide. "Or we crush you. Add your station to Vorthal territory." That's when I heard the roar. Vexthara hit the war coordinator like a meteor strike. Her 4 arms wrapped around its thorax, her mandibles clamped onto its antenna, and she threw it, all 12 feet and half a ton of hostile alien, across the dock. It crashed into a cargo container with a sound like a starship collision. "You threaten MY human?" she bellowed, her voice shaking the bulkheads. "You dare!" The Vorthal drones attacked. Bad move. What followed wasn't a fight. It was an education in why Crithians were apex predators. Vexthara moved like liquid death, her exoskeleton deflecting the drone's weapons, her 4 arms working in perfect synchronization. She grabbed 2 drones by their heads and smashed them together, used a third as a club to beat the others. The war coordinator tried to rally, but she was already there, her primary hands around its throat. "Leave," she hissed. "Now, before I forget, we have treaties too." They left, scuttled back to their ship like roaches fleeing light, their dreadnought pulling away from the station with indecent haste. I stood there, scanner still in my hand, trying to process what just happened. "You called me your human," I said quietly. Vexthara's eyes flickered from crimson to a softer amber, her mandibles closed. "I may have been protective. They're 3 times your size. Size is irrelevant." She looked away, actually looked away like she was embarrassed. "You've shown me kindness, treated me as an equal, not a weapon. No one has done that since I left my world. When they threatened you, She trailed off. I'd never seen her uncertain before. This terrifying warrior who could tear bulkheads apart was struggling to find words. "Thank you," I said simply. Her eyes met mine. "You're not afraid." "Even after seeing what I can do." "I was never afraid," I admitted. "I don't know why you're objectively terrifying, but when I look at you, I just see Vex, my friend who eats too fast and has terrible taste in entertainment vids." Something shifted in her expression. Her mandibles quivered not in threat, but in something else entirely. "Jake Morrison," she rumbled softly, "you are the strangest human in the galaxy. I've been told." The next few weeks were weird. Vexthara's ship started docking more frequently. "Additional supply runs," Captain Krell explained with a knowing smirk that suggested he knew exactly why they were suddenly needed so much station inventory. She sought me out constantly. Lunch became dinner, became late-night talks in the observation deck, watching ships come and go through the station's massive viewports. She told me about Krith, her homeworld, a planet of endless volcanic ranges and predator-filled jungles where her people evolved to be the apex of the apex. "We're not taught gentleness," she said one night, her massive frame somehow looking vulnerable in the starlight. "Krithian culture values strength above all. The strong protect the hive, the weak are discarded. I left because I was tired of only being valued as a weapon." "You're not just a weapon," I said. "To everyone else I am. They see my exoskeleton, my mandibles, my claws, and they see death. You're the only one who sees me." I reached out, slowly, giving her time to pull away, and touched her lower right hand. Her exoskeleton was warm, surprisingly smooth. "I see you," I confirmed. Her eyes cycled through colors I'd never witnessed before, amber to violet to something almost pink. "Jake, there's something you should know about Krithian biology." "Okay." When we find someone we trust completely, someone who understands us, our bodies produce certain pheromones. It's an evolutionary bonding mechanism. In the wild, Krithians who bonded could defend territory more effectively. She paused. "I've been producing those pheromones around you for weeks now." "What does that mean?" She laughed, that grinding rock sound I'd come to find oddly endearing. "It means, tiny human, that my body has decided you're my mate, whether my mind agrees or not." I blinked. "Your body thinks I'm your mate. It's not just physical attraction, though." Her mandibles clicked in what I recognized as embarrassment. "You are aesthetically pleasing for a soft body species. It's deeper. You make me feel safe, protected, even though you're a fraction of my size. You challenge me, mock me, treat me as an equal. On Krith, that's the highest form of courtship." "So you've been courting me without realizing it?" "Yes, no, maybe." She pulled her hand away, curling all 4 arms around herself. "I don't know, human-Krithian relationships are unheard of. Our biologies are completely incompatible for reproduction. The cultural differences are enormous. It would never work." "Vex, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have told you. This is inappropriate. I should go." I stood up, walked right up to her massive frame, and put both my hands on her chest plate. She froze. "Stop," I said firmly. "Stop overthinking." Yes, we're different species. Yes, it's unusual, but I don't care what's supposed to work. I care about you, the real you, the one who gets embarrassed about food preparation, who secretly loves terrible romance vids, who threatens to break me in half but can't actually hurt a fly. I could hurt many flies, she protested weakly. Not the point. I looked up at her way up. I don't know what this is between us, but I know I want to find out if you do. Her mandibles trembled. I've never been this terrified in battle. That's how you know it matters. She lowered herself down, folding her legs so we were at eye level, and very carefully, very gently touched her mandibles to my forehead. It was the Crithian equivalent of a kiss. Then we'll discover this together, my Jake. My Vex, I replied. That was 6 months ago. Now I'm lying in my quarters, stylus forgotten on the nightstand, while 7 feet of apex predator is curled up on my chest like the galaxy's most dangerous cat. Vexthara made this sound when she's content, a subsonic purr that vibrates through my entire body. It's soothing, like a massage and a lullaby combined. Her exoskeleton is warm against my skin, and she's careful to keep her weight distributed so she doesn't crush me. You're purring again, I murmur, running my hands along her back plating. Am not, she rumbles, the purr intensifying, definitely purring. Crithians don't purr, it's a contentment resonance. It's purring Vex. She shifts, bringing her face close to mine. Her eyes are that soft amber color she gets when we're alone. Fine, I'm purring. You make me feel safe enough to produce contentment resonances. Happy. Extremely. She settles back down, her mandibles clicking softly. One of her secondary hands finds mine, intertwining our fingers in a gesture we invented together. Neither human nor Crithian, but uniquely ours. The station thinks we're crazy. Interspecies relationships aren't unheard of, but human-Crithian, that's new territory. We get stares in the commissary, whispers in the corridors. Some people are genuinely concerned for my safety. They don't understand that Vex would rather tear off her own arms than harm me. Captain Krell just laughs and says he saw this coming from the first day I poked her with my stylus. I was thinking, Vex says quietly, about requesting a permanent station assignment. Krell would understand. He's been looking for a reason to semi-retire anyway. My heart skips. You'd leave the Crimson Talon. For you, I'd leave the entire galaxy. She lifts her head, those alien eyes somehow conveying so much emotion. You gave me something I never had on Krith, the freedom to be gentle. To be vulnerable, to be more than a weapon. You gave me something too, I admit. The courage to stand up to war coordinators and not back down. Before you, I was just going through the motions. Now you poke apex predators and eat lunch with death incarnate. Now I'm living instead of just surviving. Her purr deepens. She carefully adjusts her position, somehow managing to curl even tighter around me. It should be uncomfortable, all that armored weight, those sharp edges, but she's mastered the art of making herself soft for me. Read to me, she asks, nodding toward my datapad. That human adventure story you like. The Three Musketeers, you said it was primitive and unrealistic. It is, but your voice soothes me, and I like when you do the different character voices. Your D'Artagnan is particularly amusing. I laugh and grab the datapad, pulling up the book. As I start reading, Vexthara's purr becomes a steady rhythm, her breathing synchronizing with mine. Her secondary arms wrap around my waist in a protective embrace. The galaxy's scariest warrior, reduced to purrs and cuddles because a human was too stupid or too brave to be properly afraid. Outside my quarters, Nexus Station continues its endless dance of commerce and diplomacy. Ships arrive and depart. Deals are made and broken. The universe spins on. But in here we've created our own small corner of peace. A human and a Crithian proving that sometimes the most unlikely connections are the strongest. Jake, Vex murmurs sleepily. Thank you for bullying me. I grin, pressing a kiss to her forehead plating. Thank you for not killing me for it. Her laugh rumbles through both of us. The rotation is young, I may still change my mind. No, you won't. No, she agrees, purring louder. I won't. I continue reading, my voice filling our quarters with tales of human adventure and honor, while the galaxy's most dangerous predator falls asleep on my chest, safe and content, and finally, wonderfully, home.